Good afternoon. This is Akashvani. I am VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conferred highest civilian honours of Fiji and Papua New Guinea for his global leadership. Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape says Pacific Islands nations are victims of global power play and these countries will rally behind Indian leadership at world forums. RBI asks banks to maintain data on exchange of 2,000 rupee notes on a daily basis. Third meeting of G20 Working Group on Tourism to begin at Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir this afternoon. IMD issues heat wave alert for north and northwestern parts of the country. And Indian paddlers Sharat Kamal and G. Satyan make winning start at World Table Tennis Championships in Durban, South Africa. The Prime Minister today co-chaired the third summit of the Forum for India-Pacific Islands Cooperation, FIPIC 3 Summit, with his Papua New Guinea counterpart James Marape. Making the opening remarks at the FIPIC 3 Summit, Prime Minister said, "The whole world is facing new challenges today and the hurdles have been seen in the global food, fuel, fertilizers and pharma supply chains.
डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी हो या स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी, हेल्थ सिक्योरिटी हो या फूड सिक्योरिटी, क्लाइमेट चेंज हो या एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन हो, हम हर तरह आपके साथ हैं। मल्टीलेटरलिज्म में विश्वास रखते हैं। फ्री, ओपन और इंक्लूसिव इंडो पैसिफिक का समर्थन करते हैं। सभी देशों की संप्रभुता और अखंडता का सम्मान करते हैं। ग्लोबल साउथ की आवाज भी यूएन सुरक्षा परिषद में बुलंदी से उठनी चाहिए."
Prime Minister Modi added that when the COVID and other testing times affected the world, reliable countries didn't come for help, but India was very much there to support the Pacific Island friends. Prime Minister said, India considers its responsibility to convey the concerns, expectations and aspirations of the Global South to the world through the G20.
इस साल चल रही हमारी G20 प्रेसिडेंसी की थीम भी वसुधैव कुटुंबकम के उस सिद्धांत के प्रकाश में वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर, वो भी इसी विचारधारा पर आधारित है। इस वर्ष जनवरी में हमने वॉइस ऑफ ग्लोबल साउथ समिट का आयोजन किया। आपके प्रतिनिधियों ने इसमें भाग लिया, अपने विचार साझा किए और इसके लिए मैं आपका अभिनंदन करता हूँ। भारत ग्लोबल साउथ की चिंताओं, उनकी अपेक्षाओं और उनकी आकांक्षाओं को G20 के जरिए विश्व के समक्ष पहुंचाना अपना दायित्व मानता है।
Speaking at the event, Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape said that Pacific Island nations are victims of global power play. He said these countries will rally behind Indian leadership at global forums. Mr. Marape also urged Mr. Modi to be an active voice for the small island nations at global forums such as G20 and G7, attributing him as the leader of Global South. Leaders of 14 countries participated in the summit. FIPIC was launched during Mr. Modi's visit to Fiji in 2014. The Prime Minister arrived in Papua New Guinea yesterday evening from Japan, where he attended the summit of the G7 advanced economies and held bilateral meetings with several world leaders. Prime Minister Modi was conferred with Fiji's highest civilian honour, the Companion of the Order of Fiji, for his global leadership. Mr. Modi received the medal from his Fiji counterpart, Sitiveni Rabuka. Mr. Modi thanked Mr. Rabuka for the award. He also expressed his gratitude to the people and government of Fiji. He said it is an honour for the people of India and a recognition of the strong ties between both the countries.
एक्सेलेंसी सम्मान के लिए मैं आपका बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ और ये सम्मान सिर्फ मेरा नहीं है, 140 करोड़ भारतीयों का है। ये सम्मान भारत और फिजी के सदियों पुराने रिश्तों का है। ये सम्मान उनके प्रेम का प्रतीक है। इसलिए मैं आपका राष्ट्रपति जी का हृदय से बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ।
Governor General of Papua New Guinea, Bob Dadai, also bestowed upon Mr. Modi the nation's highest civilian award, the Grand Companion of the Order of Loguhu. He received the award for championing the cause of unity of Pacific Island countries and spearheading the cause of Global South. Earlier, Mr. Modi held a meeting with his Papua New Guinea counterpart James Marape and discussed a broad range of bilateral relations. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that Prime Minister James Marape and he had very productive talks, covering the full range of bilateral relations between India and Papua New Guinea. Mr. Modi said he and his counterpart discussed ways to augment cooperation in commerce, technology, healthcare and in addressing climate change. Prime Minister Modi also held talks with the island nation's Governor-General Bob Dadai separately and stressed on strengthening the partnership between the two countries across multiple sectors. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said he had a wonderful meeting with Governor-General of Papua New Guinea and talked about ways to deepen bilateral relations between both the nations across different sectors. His visit to Papua New Guinea on the second leg of his three-nation tour is the first ever by any Indian Prime Minister. He was received at the airport by Prime Minister Marape, who touched his feet as a mark of respect. Prime Minister Modi also interacted with alumni of the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program from across Pacific Island countries. He lauded them for keeping India in their hearts and reiterated his support for capacity-building efforts in the region. After concluding a day-long first-ever visit to Papua New Guinea, the Prime Minister has departed for Sydney. Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik today reshuffled his cabinet, inducting three senior MLAs, Bikram Keshari Arukha, Sudham Marandi and Sarada Naik as ministers. Governor Professor Ganeshi Lal administered the oath of office in secrecy at the swearing-in ceremony at Lok Seva Bhavan this morning. Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik and his ministers, MPs, MLAs, senior government officials were also present at the ceremony. While the portfolio of finance has been assigned to Bikram Keshari, the Chief Minister allotted the labour portfolio to Sarada Naik and school and mass education to Sudham Marandi. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. The Reserve Bank of India has directed banks to maintain data on a daily basis on the amount of 2,000 rupee notes exchanged and the amount that has been deposited into accounts. The central bank has added that banks will have to submit the information as and when called for. In a circular issued today, RBI has said that banks must maintain adequate shaded waiting space and drinking water considering the summer season. In the circular, the RBI has mentioned that the facility of exchange of 2,000 rupee banknotes from across the counter shall be provided to the public in the usual manner. Talking to media in New Delhi, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das said that banks have been asked to make necessary arrangements for the exchange of 2,000 rupee banknotes starting tomorrow.
I would like to appeal to all the viewers. There is no reason to sort of rush to the bank. Take your time. 4 महीने की समय दी गई है. आप आराम से 4 महीने के अंदर जब भी आपको सुटेबल होता है आप नोट एक्सचेंज करिए. ऐसा नहीं कि आप तुरंत आज ही जाए, कल ही जाए, मतलब कल से शुरू हो रहा है. ये नहीं कि आप मतलब तुरंत बैंक में जाके रश करें और इसको करें. आराम से करिए. Now we expect most of the notes to come back. That is our expectation at this stage. We will see how much notes come back. And as we approach 30th, we will decide, at that stage. And the legal tender character, we have said that it continues.
The third G20 Tourism Working Group meeting will begin in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir today. It will continue till Wednesday. During the 3-day meeting, delegates from G20 member countries, invited countries and international organizations will hold discussions to work collectively towards advancing the tourism sector. Addressing a press conference at Sher-e-Kashmir International Conference Centre in Srinagar yesterday, Secretary, Ministry of Tourism Arvind Singh said the meeting will deliberate on the 5 key priority areas, namely green tourism, digitalization, skills, MSMEs and destination management. These priorities are key building blocks for accelerating the transition of the tourism sector and achieving the targets of 2030 Sustainable Development Goals SDGs. More from our correspondent.
The might of the Himalayas, beautiful gardens and charm of the Dal Lake provide a perfect setting for the third Tourism Working Group meeting of the G20. Ahead of the meeting, Srinagar city is spruced up to host the delegates. The meeting takes place in the backdrop of a record tourist footfall witnessed in the Kashmir Valley. According to the G20 Chief Coordinator Harshvardhan Shringla, the meeting has the broader objectives of presenting India's rich and diverse cultural identity and highlighting the country's tourism potential to the world. The meeting also aims to strengthen economic growth, preserve cultural heritage, and promote sustainable development of the region. On the sidelines of the meeting, a major event will be held to highlight film tourism, which the UT administration has been promoting in the last few years. The inaugural day is devoted to cultural events. On the second day tomorrow, discussions will be held on the final deliverables. With Ishfaq Shah, this is Zakir Nazir for Akashwani News from Srinagar.
Union Minister of State for Panchayati Raj Kapil Patil delivered his inaugural address on the second day of the Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group ESCWG meeting in Mumbai today. Addressing the delegates, the Union Minister reiterated India's commitment on the issues pertaining to climate change, biodiversity loss, marine ecosystem and circular economy. Secretary, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Leena Nandan, who is also the chair for the ESCWG, addressed the delegates participating in the three-day event. The main focus of the meeting today is on steering the discussions around communique with a more outcome-driven approach. The Indian Met Department IMD has issued heat wave alert for north and northwestern parts of the country. It said that the maximum temperatures are likely to rise by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius over northwest India. In its latest bulletin, the IMD said heat wave conditions in isolated pockets are very likely over South Haryana, southern parts of Uttar Pradesh, West Rajasthan, East Madhya Pradesh, Gangetic Belt of West Bengal and over Jharkhand today. Yesterday, West Rajasthan recorded the maximum temperature in the range between 44 to 45 degrees Celsius and 42 to 44 degrees Celsius over many parts in East Rajasthan. IMD has also issued a heat wave warning for Delhi and adjoining areas for today after maximum temperature in several parts of the capital were recorded above 45 degrees Celsius. According to the IMD, temperature in southwest Delhi's Najafgarh touched 46 degrees Celsius yesterday, the season's highest maximum temperature. The IMD has also predicted that a fresh western disturbance will affect Delhi and other parts of northwest India from tomorrow. The IMD said under the influence of a fresh western disturbance, fairly widespread to widespread rainfall is likely with thunderstorm, lightning, gusty winds over western Himalayan region. It also added that isolated to scattered rainfall over plains of northwest India is also likely mainly from tomorrow to Thursday and decrease thereafter. Heatwave alert has also been issued for 16 districts of Uttar Pradesh. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
According to Met Department official Mohammad Danish, there will be no relief from the scorching sun today, but thereafter a fresh western disturbance over the Himalayas is expected, which will bring rain and thunderstorms in some parts of the state between Tuesday and Friday. Meanwhile, temperature in many districts is hovering between 42 to 45 degrees Celsius. Especially the southern districts of the state are reeling under the fury of the sun from last 2 days. In Bundelkhand region, the temperature crossed 45 degrees in many districts. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, Akashwani News, Lucknow.
Indian paddler Sharat Kamal and G. Satyan made a winning start at the World Table Tennis Championship in Durban, South Africa. Ranked 56th in the world, Kamal defeated Austria's David Sabdoroglu, ranked 170th in a thrilling encounter, winning 4-1 to advance to the second. Satyan also beat England's Tom Zarvis 4-3 in another men's singles contest. The Indian duo then teamed up for the men's doubles and defeated Egypt's Mohammad Shoman and Mohammad El Biali 3-0. In the women's singles, India's highest-ranked women paddler Manika Batra also won her opening match against Algeria's Linda Lograibi. Shrija Akula had won her round of 128 clash against Nicole Arlia of Italy. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conferred highest civilian honours of Fiji and Papua New Guinea for his global leadership. Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape says Pacific Island nations are victims of global power play and these countries will rally behind Indian leadership at world forums. RBI asked banks to maintain data on exchange of 2,000 rupee notes on daily basis. Third meeting of G20 Working Group on Tourism to begin at Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir this afternoon. IMD issues heatwave alert for north and northwestern parts of the country. And Indian paddler Sharat Kamal and G. Satyan make winning start at World Table Tennis Championships in Durban, South Africa. And with that, we end the midday news.